has it been sensational? The last couple of days. 14 completed rounds last night.
Unbelievable. You just mentioned it, 14 completed rounds out of 16 competitors. That is unheard of.
It most certainly is. I tell you, we are so blessed, and they say that camp drafting does not happen without great cattle. And again, tonight we have amazing cattle. All thanks to the Elliston Pastoral Company. And we have Murray Wilkinson bringing the cattle into the arena. And it looks like we've got an Angus cross there tonight. We bring fresh cattle each and every day. And you can see those dogs just quietly bringing them into the yards. And our competitors are warming up.
That's right. You can see our competitors. They're clearly identified by the fact, A, they're on a horse, and B, that they're wearing those lovely blue shirts brought to us by sponsors R.M. Williams.
Of course, the competition has our judges overseeing it. They have seen the first 4 nights. We have 2 more nights of camp drafting for 2018 at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. And who are our judges this year?
Well, our judges come from 2 different locations. We've got the wonderful Keith Hannigan, who's with us this year for the first time. He's from Warwick. He's a 35-year-old gentleman. And Fred Patterson, well, he's back for his 3rd year, comes to us from Gloucester and has been judging camp drafting and Australian stock horses all over the country.
Of course, Australia's own sport is camp drafting, and Lindsay Douglas, you and I could profess to be absolute champions of this, but let's not kid ourselves. We do have a champion. He's a stock and station agent from Scone in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, and when he's not chasing stock around, he calls a bit of camp drafting. Jim Callanan, welcome to centre stage.
Thank you very much, Tim and Lindsay, and getting ready for round 5 and with one of our camp draft judges here at the moment and needs no introduction to the Royal Easter Show. Fred Patterson, welcome back to the Royal Easter Show.
Thank you, Jim. It's a privilege to be back here, Jim, and this week we've been blessed with wonderful cattle and we've got great horses and great competitors, and it's really going well.
Fred, you've judged here 3 other years. You've been a great camp draft competitor yourself, but to travel anywhere about and to see what we've witnessed here over the first 4 rounds, it's just been magnificent camp drafting.
Yes, Jim. If we can average 15%, sometimes up to 30 or 40% of the runs to get a score, we're doing very well. And here, we're averaging about 80%.
Well, let's hope it continues, Fred, and all the very best for the next 2 rounds.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay, so there's one of our camp draft judges, Fred Patterson from Gloucester. We'll catch up with Keith Hannigan probably tomorrow evening leading into the final. But we're just about all set, ready to go. Tim and Lindsay?
Thank you so much, Jim. It is getting close. So what is going to happen? Very quick explanation of camp draft. A rider will go into the camp. He'll cut a beast out. Jim, there's a score out of 26 for the camp, if I do believe correctly. They then come out onto the course. There are 3 obstacles on the course. I think it looks like we're on a left-hand run, so they'll go around the tree closest to the Vincent Fairfax and Sutter stand, around the other tree, crossing over in front of the Cumberland stand, and then the final obstacle is the gate out here in the middle, and they will try and get through there. Their score for 4 on the course, 70 score for the 70 for the horsework to give us a score out of 100. As I said, I'm no expert. Jim is our expert and the first of our competitors here this evening.
Well, thank you very much, Tim. I'm still waiting to meet that expert, no matter in what field, but thank you very much.
I think we're all waiting to find an expert. Don't they say a jack of many, a master of none?
That's where I fit in too.
Well, the first on into the camp now will be Paul Cullen. He's riding a horse called Heatwave. Heatwave's progeny has actually been selling at the Landmark Classic for anywhere between $20,000 and $25,000. 13-year-old bay stallion. And he's had a couple of pretty good nights here as part of this camp draft. He had a score of 83 on the 3rd round out here. And this horse has had a pretty amazing history too. It's been champion of champions at Warwick and has had a number of big placings at various competitions around the country.
Well, Paul Carlon, he calls for the gate, and now they step out into the spotless stadium. Round number 5, the World Championship Campdraft, and things are looking pretty good for Heatwave, and Paul Carlon got a beautiful Angus cross steer. He says, yes, I'll float around the first peg. He's going to put him up between the 2 pegs. He gets 2 out of 2 points for the first peg. And looking now, Heatwave goes to work. This is Campdrafting right up on the beast's shoulder. Paul Carlon and Heatwave around the second peg they come. They got 3 out of 4 for the course. Now if he can put it down through the gate, and let's hope that they can line it all up. Go, get ready, mums and dads, girls and boys. It's looking very good for Heatwave and Paul Carlon. Another great round. Kicks it off with a great run there by Heatwave and Paul Carlon.
Well, night number 5 does not disappoint. What a way to start with a completed course while we wait for the score. The next of our riders into the camp already will be Troy Palmer. And Fiona Palmer's nomination of Binia Impressive Destiny, or ID, a 16-year-old stallion, quarter horse cross Australian stock horse. And this pair have been camp drafting for 13 years. And they're the national futurity winner in 05 and the landmark stallion draft winner in 2017 from Coolah in New South Wales.
The score there now for Paul Carlon with Heatwave was 23 for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Heatwave and Paul Carlon. So Troy Palmer with ID right up the face of the camp. And ID just steps back and says, I've got him covered. He comes up the face of the camp again. He calls for the gate now. He steps out into the spotless stadium. There the Angus cross steer says, oh, he's just going to duck in a little on the bottom side of the first peg, and they don't knock the wonderful stock horses around. They either on course or they just pull up and says, we'll wait for tomorrow evening. But give him a round of applause there. That was Troy Palmer with Binia Impressive Destiny.
Well, Jim, while we wait for a cutout score, the next in camp is Andrew Chapman on Digby. Now, Andrew Chapman and Digby had a score last night of 89.5 and a score the night before that of 88. They've scored every night out here. He's on a 16-year-old bay gelding who's an Australian quarter horse and a stock horse at the same time. 10 years of campaigning. And he comes to us from Canara and study has out at Nundle in the New England, where he's a cattle stud manager.
A score now for Troy Palmer and Binia Impressive Destiny, a cutout score of 21 points. 21 points for Binia Impressive Destiny and Troy Palmer. So Andrew Chapman and Digby, they're about to make their selection on this beautiful evening here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Just waiting for the beast to move, and Digby takes 2 steps and says, well, he might just turn around and we'll get him off nice and clean. That's what the competitors like, to just get one on their own. He said, I'll just go up here and I'll turn them back. And Digby, the ears are flickering and backwards and forwards. As soon as you make the move, we're ready to go. Andrew Chapman, he makes his selection. And up the face of the camp they come. Just lets the other beast go back, and now Digby says, we'll go to work now, out here on the dance floor, right up the face of the camp. Calls for the gate now. They step out into the spotless stadium. This is Andrew Chapman and Digby around the first peg now they come. And Digby seems to have it all under control. He says, just sit back here a little bit, boss, he said, and we don't go too hard, but now we can. He comes around there. He's going to float around the second peg, and Digby said it's time to go to work again, and got it all covered around there as well. He says, just sit back a little bit. He said, let him run on, and now they're going to go hard and fast. Now can they get the big bend? They've got to get a big bend now to get him around. Digby, Andrew Chapman. Oh, and there's another round, but just down the side of the gate, so there'll be 3 out of 4 for the course.
So we will get a score while we wait for that to come in. We now welcome into the arena 3 times he has won this competition, 4 times in total. The last 3 years, it is Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory. He had a score of 81 on night 1, 86 on night 2, 84 on night 3, and 85.5 on night number 4. Can he put himself up into the winner's circle here on night number 5? It is the 20-year-old stallion that we all love to watch. From Rydal, here in New South Wales, we welcome out Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory.
Score now for Andrew Chapman with Digby was 22.5 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 84.5 points. 84.5 points for Digby, ridden by Andrew Chapman. Well, Nigel Cable, Chevron Ivory, right up the face of the camp they come, and there's one beast says, I don't want to stop in here, I want to get out into the spotless stadium. Calls for the gate, and he steps out now onto the stage here, and Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory, and he just comes in short of the first peg, so you'll get that second attempt. They come around now. He says, can we wrap it up around there this time? And Chevron Ivory says, sure we can. And he moves right up onto the beast's shoulder and pushes him around. Camp Drafting at his best, coming around the first peg. Chevron Ivory, Nigel Cable, they get the 2 points for the first peg. They do the changeover. They're against the clock as time ticks away. Oh, and we've just got another split peg. Unfortunately, they're cut-out score only for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable.
Your next in camp will be Warwick Lawrence on Proud Little Pepto. This is a horse that has been brought over from the United States, a quarter horse imported here, a 9-year-old chestnut stallion. Has had a couple of good little runs out here, including being part of the 2012, 2009 and 2008 World Championship camp drafts. And Warwick's been attending Sydney Royal all of his life, competing for 25 years in the Australian stock horse classes and camp draft.
A score there now for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable was 20.5 points for cutout, 20.5 points for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable. So Warwick Lawrence, Proud Little Pepto, about to make their selection. Proud Little Pepto and Warwick Lawrence, they go to town. They bring it right up the face of the camp. They're going for the big points. They step out into the arena. They're on centre stage, and things are looking pretty good for they've got a very fast one. And across the arena, the steer says, I want to go straight to the members stand. And it'll be a good afternoon to be in the members here on this wonderful afternoon. But give you a nice round of applause there. Warwick Lawrence and Proud Little Pepto will go with a cutout score only.
Well, next out into the camp, we see the very distinctive Tony Mortimer on that beautiful Ghost of Abbey. He's had 3 completed runs out of 4 nights, an 87, an 86 and an 83.5. And, of course, Ghosts of Abbey is the Australian stock horse 7-year-old mare, the Cremello. And Tony Mortimer is a truck driver and plant operator and loves competing in the sport of camp drafting.
A score there now for Warwick Lawrence and Proud Little Pepto of 23 points for cutout. 23 points for Proud Little Pepto and Warwick Lawrence. So Tony Mortimer, Ghost of Abbey, they are running their eye over these Angus Cross steers. He says, where is the run of 89 or 90 or 91 points to try and stop in this competition? It is a very, very tight competition. The World Championship Camp Draft for 2018. Okay, Ghost of Abbey and Tony Mortimer. Right up the face of the camp they come as well. Calls for the gate. They're about to step up onto the centre stage here in the Spotless Stadium. And Ghost of Abbey and Tony Mortimer, he's got himself a very fast one as well. And he goes across the ground. Well, that can happen. And unfortunately, therefore, Tony Mortimer and Ghost of Abbey, a cutout score there only.
Well, as we wait for that to come through, your next in camp, Jim, is Brendan Fitzgerald. He's a 56-year-old from Roma in Queensland with a whole host of achievements behind him. The Condamine Bell, the Warwick Gold Cup, the Warwick Stallion Draft, Paradise Lagoons, 2 landmark classics. Tonight he's riding More Rocks, a 7-year-old brown stallion who's had about 2 years of campaigning.
Cutout score there for Ghost of Abbey and Tony Mortimer of 20.5. 20.5 for Tony Mortimer and Ghost of Abbey. Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks as we just wait for our cattle stewards, Peter and David Kelly and Murray Wilkerson. Just puts the cattle back out to bed. They can have a relaxing afternoon. So Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks made the long trip down from Roma in Queensland for the World Championship Camp Draft 2018. Calls for the gate. Oh, and he gets a tricky one back down along the fence. But More Rocks steps back down along the fence and blocks the steer off. Out onto Spotless Stadium they come. Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks, and around the first peg they glide. And just says, come around this way. And yes, the steer is in under control, and they're about to do the crossover. Brendan Fitzgerald and More Rocks, and tighten things up a little around the second peg. Says, I'll just sit back here. As Moorox says, leave the footwork to me, you just do the navigating. I'm ready to go as soon as you press the right buttons. And he's about to press the buttons now as they steer it over towards the gate. And then Moorox and Brendan Fitzgerald is looking very good. It looks very, very good. Brendan Fitzgerald.
Well, that's what
With
we love
more
to
rocks.
see. Well done. Great run as we now welcome out Sue Duggan and Quindella Chief into the camp. Sue, one of our lady competitors, 4 runs, 4 completions, an 87, an 86. She was 5th here in round number 3 with an 85. Second last night, just half a point off the leader with a 90. Quindella Chief, the Australian stock horse gelding, 18 years of age, and they've been campaigning together for 14 years.
Score now for Brendan Fitzgerald with more rocks was 20 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. 86.5 for more rocks and Brendan Fitzgerald. So Sue Duggan. And what a year she's having for the very first year drafting at the World Championship Camp Draft. She's been putting him around each night, got a few points on the board. She's just looking for another perfect round tonight. So as we welcome Sue Duggan into round number 5 with Quindella Chief. She's about to make her selection. She says, I think I'll take this black baldy steer that's sitting nice and quietly down the back. They come up the face of the camp. Sue Duggan, Quindella Chief. They do the 2, the 3, right up the face of the camp, the 4, the 5, and they step out now into Spotless Stadium here at the Royal Easter Show. And Quindella Chief with Sue Duggan around the... Oh, look at this for a nice close first peg. And the steer says, I'll just go wherever you want me to go on this beautiful afternoon in this beautiful stadium. And around the second peg, Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief. And Quindella Chief said, oh, isn't he a great steer here this afternoon? She says, I'll just go over here. He says, I'll just canter over here for you. Now comes around Sue Duggan, Quindella Chief. Can they do it? Can they do it? They can certainly do it. Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief.
And that is how the ladies do it in this competition. Sue Duggan, an outstanding ride there. Your next in camp is going to be Terry Hannigan. You can see him on screen in a moment. He's riding Durkin's Onix. It's a 10-year-old bay gelding by Miles Springs Omar and out of Durkin's Diamond, an Australian stock horse. The combo have been together drafting for 2.5 years, but the previous owners of Durkin's Onix campaigned him too. Well, Terry, he's ridden all his life. He's only just started camp drafting in the last 5 years or so. Comes to us from his stud called Hollywood up in Canamble.
So score now for Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief was 22 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points there for Quindella Chief and Sue Duggan. Okay, Terry Hannigan now with Durkin's Onix, right up the face of the camp. They're going for the big points this evening, the competitors. Now, Terry Hannigan. Here they come with Durkin's Onix. He said, oh, got a nice big tall Angus cross here too. And he says, a beautiful place to be. He says, oh, here's the first peg. And look at Onix says, we'll get around there right alongside him, camp drafting, up on the beast's shoulder. Now, Terry Hannigan, Durkin's Onix says, well, just sit back a little bit here. Finger touch control. You're seeing the very, very best of the Australian stock horses and the very best of the competitors throughout Australia. Around the second peg, they've got 3 out of 4 for the course. Can they get 4 out of 4? And things are looking pretty good for Durkin's Onix and Terry Hannigan. And straight down through the middle of the pegs they come. Another great camp drafting run.
Well, once again, I want what these guys are on here. They're doing a sensational job as we now welcome our next rider into the camp while we wait for the score on that last rider. It's Gav White. He's had an 86.5, an 84 and an 87. 3 completions out of 4 nights. And he rides the mare, Ashcat, Destinations Diva, a horse trainer by trade from Pine Ridge, just outside of Tamworth and Corindi, here in New South Wales.
Okay, we have a score coming through now for Durkin's Onix and Terry Hannigan of 22.5 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89.5 points. 89.5 points for Terry Hannigan and Durkin's Onix. And Robin, she'll be up there clapping the hands in the stand. Okay, we go with Gav White. from Corindai. Ryan comes straight up the face of the camp, gets the beast off nice and clean and quick. Cohen does the 3-4 turns and calls for the gate, and he's ready for business. And so is the steer. He says, I'm ready for business as well. They go across the ground, and look at the good horse work there. They float around the first peg. Gav White here now with Ashcat Destinations Diva. And Diva now, she does the changeover. And Rug moves right up on the beast's shoulder. Camp drafting here at its best. And Gav White and Diva. Destination Diva round the second peg they come. And gets it over the line and makes it 3 out of 4 for the course. And now can they get it and put it down between the two pegs for 4 out of 4? Can they do it? Oh, can they do it? Well, bad luck there for Gav White and Destinations Diva. There'll be a cutout score there only. You hear the Australian stock whips go from our judges there. Keith Horrigan and Fred Patterson, and a cutout score there of 22 points. 22 points there for Ashcat Destinations Diva and Gav White.
Well, the score of 22 there, but the score to beat so far is Terry Hannigan's score of 89.5 on Durkin's Onix. Our next in camp will be Grant Watham on Samuel's Jules Acres. Grant has won this event in the past not once but twice. He's been competing at Sydney Royal for 15 years and has been in this camp draft since 1998. He's on the 11-year-old Bay Mare, who's an Australian stock horse. She's been campaigning for 5 years. He's won 2 camp drafts, and he tells me that the whole family loves riding Jewel. Comes to us from the town of Lochinvar in New South Wales, where he's an auctioneer and grazier by day, and by weekend, a keen camp drafter.
So Grant Watham, he's about to make his selection. Just wants the other 2 steers to drift back down the fence. So Samuel's Jewel Acres and Grant Watham, they're about to go to work, and he gets it nice and clear now. Patience plays off. Now, here we go. Grant Watham and Jewel Acres, they call for the gate. They're out in the Spotless Stadium, round number 5, and he's got a very fast one too, and comes around there now. And can he line up the first peg? And things are looking pretty good. And he's got a very fast one, and it's going to make its way back down here to its friends in the back of the spent yard. So we'll just get our cattle stewards, Pete and Dave Kelly, and they'll take that steer back out and get ready for his trip back home. So a cutout score there of 21.5 points. 21.5 points for Samuel's Jewel Acres and Grant Watham.
Well, next into the camp, we welcome Kyra O'Brien from the O'Brien's Family Partnership. And the O'Brien family have produced horses with the versatility. They've been excelling at high levels in all disciplines at local, state and royal and national levels. Kyra's married. She rides tonight O'Brien's Rosette, and she had an 86.5 on the previous night's competition. And from Miller's Forest in the Hunter Valley here in New South Wales.
So Kyra O'Brien, she's about to make her selection on the Australian Stock Horse Stallion O'Brien's Reset. And a great combination they are. Kyra and Reset. Just lets the cattle settle down the back. One wants to walk back up, says, please take me. But Kyra said, I just don't want you. I want this other one. Now they just settle. She's about to make a step in, just comes back. So we're up to number 12 in round 5. Says, there's the one I want. She goes in to get him. He just wouldn't walk out on his own. So O'Brien's Reset and Kyra O'Brien. The others drift off. Now she's got him on his own so they can go to work. This is where they start to earn the points and right up the face of the camp. And O'Brien's Reset and Kyra O'Brien, they call for the gate and he's got it all under control. He steps back into the middle of the yard. Now steps out into the Spotless Stadium and around the first peg they glide. Oh, and he's got a little bit of another turn in him. That's bad luck there for Kyra O'Brien and O'Brien's Reset. I'll go with a cutout score there only.
Well, your next in camp is a man who has scored every night out here and placed in the top 5 in every round. It's Adam Sadler on Tejano Spin. She's a quarter horse mare whose mother won a reining for charity. Only been campaigning about 3 years. And Adam Sadler, he comes to us from Bunnan in the Upper Hunter. He's a station manager and has enjoyed camp drafting over 25 years, including being the ABCRA's most successful camp drafter 1 year and a maiden series national show winner, the Australian Stock Horse Society's event not so long ago. He's had 1 year camp drafting here at Sydney Royal, 3 years in this main arena show though, and he's spent plenty of years watching it. So he'll be excited to be out there competing tonight.
So a score now for Kyra O'Brien, and O'Brien's reset was 21.5. 21.5 points for O'Brien's reset and Kyra O'Brien. So Adam Sadler just runs his eye over the Angus Cross steers.
Just relax for a while.
So just wait till we get the Angus Cross steer off the arena. Back out into his lounge room where they're on that beautiful hay and water and lay down and sleep, and they certainly get well looked after here at the Royal Easter Show.
Terry Hannigan still the score to beat at this stage with an 89.5. We've got two competitors on 89, so they're very close at the top of the field at this stage, Jim. It's going to be so exciting with all this few riders still to go and some great names still to come in our lineup.
So they bring a few of the other cattle out, and that'll help settle him a little more, and they'll head him towards the exit gate. And into their own little lounge room they'll go, and back onto the hay and the water. So well done, Pete and Dave Kelly, Murray Wilkinson. And it won't be too long now, and Adam Sadler will get the nod from our two judges to say we're ready to go. There they get the nod. So Adam Sadler with Tajano Spin, number 13 in the draw of round 5. And Adam's just waiting for the steer to make the move, the one that he wants. He says, not that one. Tajano Spin says, I think I know the one you're after. We'll just let him walk around on that back fence. They just try and play it pretty cool, keep everything nice and calm. So he makes his selection right up the face of the camp, and another one comes up with him now. So he just wants those other two to drift away. Adam Sadler. And once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, the Packer family, to Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the team up there. We've seen some of the very, very best. The rounds of the 2018 World Championship Camp Draft will be remembered. There was, especially after last night with those 14 out of 16 full round scores, it was just a pleasure to witness. And this other steer says, I just don't want to go back. We're the best of mates, we are. So we'll just see what we can do here in a moment. So, nice bit of work there by Adam Sadler and Tajano Spin. They get the steer they want on his own and goes right up the face of the camp here now. All the competitors are starting to look for the big points, and out onto the Spotless Stadium they come, and Tajano Spin, and they got a very fast one, and look at Adam Sadler. And around the first peg now, and the steer just slips and goes down. Well, very unlucky for Adam Sadler. Tajano Spin.
Well, you've got to take the luck when it's on your side, and sometimes the luck can be against you. What a shame for Tajano Spin. Adam Sadler next into the camp. He's had 2 wins here, round 1 and round 3. It is, of course, the well-known Hugh Miles with Pillvale Wishes. And this combination come to us from Tamworth in New South Wales. And he is a wonderful pair, having won the 2017 Top 25 Horses in the ABCRA, the Australian Bushman and Camp Drafting and Rodeo Association in 2017.
21 points for Adam Sadler and Tajano Spin. 21 points for Tajano Spin and Adam Sadler. On to Hugh Miles we go, number 14 in the draw for round 5. as he just lets the cattle go back down to the back of the camp yard. And Hugh Miles, he makes his selection. Peel Vale Wishes. Hugh Miles and Peel Vale Wishes. They do the 1, the 2, the 3. He calls for the gate. And we wish them all the best as they step out into the Spotless Stadium. And the steer and Peel Vale Wishes. Hugh Miles around the first peg. Just says sit back here a little tiny bit. Got a nice kind running Angus cross steer. They do the changeover. They got 2 out of 4 for the first peg. Around the second peg. And they're starting to tighten it up a little bit now. They've got 3 out of 4. They're heading towards the gate. Can they do it? He's going to take a little bit of a shortcut and put the pressure right on Hugh Mile and Peel Vale Wishes. It looks a perfect run. It's a magnificent run. Peel Vale Wishes and Hugh Miles.
Oh, magnificent camp drafting there by Hugh Miles. He's looking exceptional as part of this year's World Championship camp draft. Well, the second last in camp is a man by the name of Ben Tapp. And Ben's riding a horse called Cool Dust, who has had more than 50 open drafts to her name. 2 novices, 1 maiden, and her dam, her mum if you're not from the horse world, Oak Stardust, has won this Sydney Royal competition twice, ridden then by Bruce McNaughton. Well, this mare, Cool Dust, is 17 years old. She's a stock horse and a quarter horse. She's had 13 years campaigning and she's under the great rider that is Ben Tapp today.
Score now for Hugh Miles and Peel Vale Wishes of 22 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 90 points. 90 points for Peel Vale Wishes and Hugh Miles. So Ben Tapp, Cool Dust, and makes his selection very quickly too, Ben Tapp does. And Cool Dust, right up the face of the camp we go. Blocks him off, he calls for the gate, he wants to get out into the Spotless Stadium. And Cool Dust and Ben Tapp, the Angus cross steer, they line things up around the first peg. They're starting to get out a little one, got it all under control and wheels the beast back around the first peg here now. Cool Dust and Ben Tapp. They're trying to get the 2 out of 4. They've got the 2 out of 4 now. They do the changeover and look at Cool Dust. Says, oh, we'll go right around here and starting to cover the Angus cross steer. Comes around, lets him float back around the second peg. They got 3 out of 4 for the course. Now, can they do it? Can they do it? And look at Cool Dust says, well, just wait, but I think it's time to go. And Ben Tapp says it's time to go. And that will make it 4 out of 4, just like that. Cool Dust and Ben Tapp.
Whoa, that was a quick steer. He was flying around the Spotless Stadium here this afternoon. Well, have we saved the best till last? The young gun, just 20 years of age. We welcome into the camp April Langridge, and she rides Jecker's Request. The 17-year-old mare, she's a heritage stock horse, been campaigning for 12 years. From Dora Creek, she has had a win here on night number 2. She's had 3 scores on the board, an 86.5. That win, the 90.5, and an 84. She'll need to find a 90.5 to win round number 5.
So a score coming through now for Cool Dust and Ben Tapp of 21.5 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86 points. 86 points for Cool Dust and Ben Tapp. Now April Langridge, one of our lady competitors, her first year here at the Royal Easter Show and the World Championship Camp Draft with Jecker's Request and April Langridge. And Jecker's Request, here they come right up the face of the camp. They do the 1, they do the 2, and Jecker's Request has got it all under control. And April Langridge, they step out onto the dance floor of the Spotless Stadium, and the pony says we're ready to go. And they get the nice kind running Angus crossed here as they float around the first peg. He says, I want to duck over towards the Sutter stand, but Jecker's Request says no way. They come around the first peg. They got to do a changeover now. She says, yes, I'll do the changeover now. And look at the pony get right down on the ground. They float around the second peg. And look at where Jecker's Request right down on the ground says, I've got him covered as soon as you want to go. April, just press that other button and we'll get him over here towards the gate to make it 4 out of 4. Can they do it? April Langridge and Jecker's Request, can they do it? Of course they can do it. April Langridge and Jecker's Request.
What a ride to bring us through to the last competitor. She was just outstanding. The 20-year-old young lady who has never competed at Sydney Royal in this event before.
Oh, it's a pressure weight. Score to beat a 90 here tonight by Hugh Miles. Can he win 3 of the 5 rounds? Or has April done enough?
So the score coming through here now for April Langridge and Jacker's request was 21 for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86 points. 86 points for April Langridge and Jacker's request of 86.
Well, an outstanding run for April. She'll be pretty thrilled with that. She scored 4 nights out of the 5 rounds here. And we'll be getting the official results through to you very shortly. But we've seen some pretty outstanding camp drafting here over the last few nights. And tonight was just another example of the exceptional talent around the country. Our wonderful sponsors here, Tyrrell's Wines. If you're watching the camp draft now, you can go and replenish your glass while we bring you the results and the presentation of our winner and place getters in the World Championship Camp Draft.
Top 5 over here, please. Top 5 to me, please. Top 5.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the official results come through now, and congratulations to our winner, Hugh Miles. That's 3 out of 4 nights. Well done to Hugh Miles, 3 out of 5. Pilvale Wishes on a score of 90. Second place, congratulations to Terry Hannigan and Durkin's Onix, 89.5. Equal third place on 89 points, Sue Duggan, Quindella Chief and Paul Carlin and Heatwave. And fifth place going to Brendan Fitzgerald on 86.5 and More Rocks.
Boy, have we seen some outstanding camp drafting here this evening. I understand, Jim Callanan, you're down with our winner now.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Lindsay. And doing the presentation of round 5, past president of the RAS, Mr. Rob Vickery. Also with councillors Jeff Mason and councillor Duncan McIntyre doing the presentation. But right here with me now, no happier person here in the Spotless Stadium, Hugh Miles World, Hugh Mile, and Pilvale Wishes, a great combination. You must be very, very happy, Hugh.
Yeah, mate, no, it is, it makes a week worthwhile. I'm real happy. The mare's been good and the competition's been great. Cattle have been even better and, I can't, the great mob of competitors we've got down here and, no, it's pretty special. So I'm real happy to be here, mate, and happy to be the end of the line.
You're talking about a great lot of competitors. It's a big, happy family, isn't it? I've been up there at different times over the last few days, just how well everybody gets on and has a little jokes with everybody. And that's what really makes it the camaraderie, isn't it?
Oh, mate, there's no better family deal, or we're all best of mates. We help one another, and when you see your mates win or whatever, you're just as happy for them as they are for you. And it's a great environment to be involved in, and for anyone and their kids. And we all go out to dinner and have a great time together. There's no bad blood with anyone. It's just a real good environment to be in, mate.
Yeah, you. 1 round to go. It's been a very close competition in 2018. The gate is not closed as yet. And so all the best for the final round tomorrow evening.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Huey Miles, and all the very best to the other competitors for the final tomorrow evening. So we'll cross back up to Tim and Lindsay.